Prospects for the growth and deepening of the Nigerian financial market received a boost with the quotation of the Dangote Cement Plc 50 billion naira commercial papers at the FMDQ OTC Exchange. It featured two issuances, the first 12.04 billion naira and the second 37.96 billion naira. In his address, the Group Chief Executive Officer of Dangote Cement Plc, Engineer Joseph Makoju, said the listing was another proof of investor confidence in the company.
This transaction is a milestone for us, as it does signals a migration from what we've been used to before, which is bank and group funding, now to accessing these other new sources of funding. I'm told is the largest commercial paper issuance in the Nigerian Debt Capital Market. And it is, of course, as you know, marked by this 50 billion naira dual tenor issuance under the 150 billion CP program we established. You remember we had another event at the end of June to announce that. We are amazed and delighted with the success of the transaction, because for us, it is a proof of the confidence investors have in us in Dangote. It also demonstrates, we'd like to believe, our financial strength, which going forward, I can assure you, you'll be able to judge from our interim results when you hear them tomorrow.
Highlight of the event was the signing of the documents to seal the commercial papers quotation at the exchange. CEO of the FMDQ, Mr. Bola Nadele Koko, believed the Dangote listing marked a new chapter for the good of commercial papers in the country.
The size is significant, but what is more important, actually, is the corporate benchmark that is lacking in Nigeria. We all know that the interbank market does not have a yield curve that banks and clients can use to price their transactions. Whether Dangote needs money, Dangote Cement needs money or not, we encourage this issuance to keep going on so we can establish this as a benchmark so banks can price people off Dangote.
Engineer Makoju, Mr. Kobe Bensi-Enchi, and Tumi Shekoni speak further on the Dangote Cement commercial paper quotation.
As I said earlier, we're very happy to be the one making is a bit of history, making history, and Dangote is a trailblazer in every area, leading cement company in Nigeria, and today Africa's leading cement company. We're expanding very rapidly. We're now in 10 countries. And you can imagine with that type of expansion, we need to also diversify our various sources of funding. So that's what we are doing here, to also go into the commercial paper capital market. And coming in, we come in a big way and open what we are told is the largest single issue. Certainly, we're on that growth trajectory. We're going to continue to exploit the opportunities, not only in Nigeria, but in our other 9 African countries, and position ourselves strongly as Africa's #1 cement company.
Yes, indeed, and it's been a long time in waiting. I think when the corporate commercial paper market was relaunched, there was a lot of desire to see blue chip or good quality corporates taking advantage of that window. It took a while because there was some skepticism about how this will work. But largely, we've seen quite a number. We've seen the likes of Nigerian breweries, Lafarge, flour mills, Guinness, and then a number of banks as well. But what was special about this is basically it's in terms of size and in terms of creating a benchmark, it delivered exactly what we were looking for. So I think we're quite excited about this. I think a number of people were, when we started this journey, were concerned that we'll be able to raise this much, in such a short space of time. So making it happen, I think, was quite critical for development of the market. So we're excited about this. We know there are quite a few more in the pipeline, and basically would open the door for others to follow suit.
How would it deepen the market? So FMDQ, one of the initiatives that started when we were launched, was to try to revive the commercial papers market, and so there was a period we had sort of rules, a process for it, obviously in line with the CBN guidelines around the issuance of commercial papers. And that what we have seen over the period is that market begin to develop. And the commercial papers program registrations crossed the 1 trillion mark a couple of months ago. So obviously this is now this is adding to that. With the more issuances in the market, obviously we provide the relevant transparency around the price discovery, all the necessary information that investors require to be able to make decisions. So we have this issue now, and obviously it's not part of the issuances in the market. But again, what we hope for is more of these issues. Like we said, we're trying to create a corporate benchmark. So we're hoping that we'll see more and more of these, because as you can see, this is a dual issuance. There are two issuances in this. There are two series in this issue, and after a few months, it's going to mature because it's a short-term product. So we're hoping that there'll be more of these in the market.
You're a player in the market. You're helping to underwrite, if I'm right, some of these big deals. What would you like to see more to create this enabling environment for more key listings and activities in the commercial paper market in Nigeria?
I think for that to happen, there has to be enabling environments, and that just speaks to where interest rates are, and then levels of liquidity. At any time, if at any point in time for a corporate treasurer, I think your options are looking at, okay, what can I get from my banks versus what can I get from the markets. We also would like to see more investors participate. So these are the non-bank financial institutions, your pension funds, asset managers, insurance companies. They have to also broaden their pool of investments from just treasury bills to looking at corporate commercial paper as well as bonds. And I think once we have that, we will see a lot more flow. So I think that is also important for market developments.
How do you describe the FMDQ's role in driving this whole value chain?
I think it's absolutely crucial, because if not for FMDQ being an advocate, playing the role of the intermediary between the market and then other regulators, a lot of the advancements you've seen would not have happened. You needed somebody to be a champion of the cause. And I think FMDQ has done that very well. We are pleased to have partnered with FMDQ along on this journey, as well as other initiatives that FMDQ is bringing to markets. And we think that it will definitely transform the way the market, the Nigerian debt capital markets, from what it is today to what we aspire to be in the future.
The 50 billion commercial paper listing by Dangote Cement Plc is the largest in the history of the Nigerian debt capital market. This is a good development and will deepen the Nigerian financial market and economy at large.